Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines. We are starting today off with a 6 minute and 42-second-ish time lapse. Essentially, I didn't do a video last week. I've been incredibly busy with a number of things in life, so I don't have as much time as I would like to have to do some Wheatywaffle stuff. So what I ended up doing is kind of recording 2 episodes, then just cramming them together into one. The first of these episodes is the road layout of our downtown and some of the public transit. This is all pretty temporary, or not temporary. This is all pretty draft. So you're going to see it as we build it here, and then I'll also do a little bit more of a review once we get into the live gameplay. But I want to know what you guys think of this road layout, especially the public transit connections, before we actually do anything here. So I don't actually build anything in this quote-unquote like downtown area other than the roads and some general infrastructure for our public transit. I wanted to purposely leave placing any buildings or doing any like further detailing at least one more week until you guys have given me some feedback on it and we're sure it's how we want it set up. But the bulk of today's episode is stadiums. So we're kind of, again, like we're filling in all the areas leading up to the downtown. We're getting closer and closer and closer each episode. So in this area, at least along this 6-lane main road going down the center, I wanted to follow the exact same grid pattern that we have in the other part of our downtown, like the Newport area, East and West Cypress, or Terra. I wanted all of that layout to match. It just to be on a slightly different angle because I think that's going to give us really cool aerial shots of the city. And because there's going to be a pretty small section that has those really, really tall buildings, just so that they can really stand out because there's not a ton of them, we're going to have a lot of smaller brick buildings, especially along the highway and near the train line. So I think it'll look nice to have a different grid, but it still matches the grid that we have on the other side. Now, thinking about like what did we do in here that I need to tell you about? Nothing really that exciting. We do a lot of changes here. We moved, now we're on the bridge. Great. But really for this area, I wanted to try to pack in as much gridded space as I can, which I think we do a pretty good job of doing that. And I wanted to also make sure we included a through line for our trams, and I wanted to begin to expand the metro stations out a little bit. And I'm realizing now, as I'm watching this, there absolutely could be a train over here. I did not put a train in this when I build it, so I might go back in after this, before this video releases, and add in a train line. This is the power of editing. But I might add in another train station just so we have something over here servicing the stadium area. Now, I'm obsessed with doing this recently, which is, I think I've done this now 3 times, is adding in these little alleyways that go underneath of the highways. Essentially what this is serving as is an additional way to connect over into the downtown, especially for people who live there. So if you're going to see a game over at the stadiums, but you live right over the highway, you can just slink on down through that side road instead of having to go through the main arterial or get on the highway or anything like that. And in building this, I do realize we don't have enough bridges. Right now, we only have 1 bridge connecting over the highway. So I do go in right now, I add 2 more bridges. These are a bit smaller, but I do have now 3 bridges, which is a total of, let's see, if there's 2 lanes on those and 3. So we've got a total of 8 lanes going either direction over this kind of center transport area with the highway and the train line. And then we also have that underpass, which has it's asymmetrical, so there's 2 coming into the downtown and 1 going over to the stadiums. So I think we have a pretty good connection here. We do build an interchange in the actual like live play of the episode, so we will get to that in a minute. And then this area here I'm really struggling with. I'm struggling with the 6-lane avenue and the 4-lane avenue and the tram line. So I think we come up with something pretty decent. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll adjust this, I think, before we really get into the next episode where we start building out this downtown a bit more. And then the rest of this is just like finessing some road layouts. I do think I want to have some kind of monument down here somewhere. I was thinking of like that pyramid that comes with the natural disaster pack. It looks pretty cool and perfectly fits with the blocks that I've built in terms of the size, so might be an option. And then here I'm just messing with the roads. I do change these up. So instead of doing the one-way, one unit avenues that we did in the other part of the city, I over here believe I ended up leaving the 2-lane 1-unit roads. So they're kind of like little alleyways. They go both directions. So there's not as much one-way restrictions in the heart of the downtown. We're going to see what that does for traffic. That might be really beneficial. I love that my dog keeps interrupting recordings. That might be beneficial for traffic. It might cause a bunch of problems. So we'll see how that goes and maybe adjust it once we start filling in this area with people. And then for here, I'm just putting in a subway. What we're going to end up having is a subway that goes all the way over to the stadiums, which is what I'm building right now. And then you're going to see me build one like random subway over by itself. Don't worry, the one on the right side we delete, the one on the left side we keep. And it basically becomes a spur line because we have those two lines that are currently one connected to the stadium and one that's connected to like the West Cypress Cemetery. So we're going to have one that comes all the way over to the stadiums and then one that just goes over to the spur, connects to the other side of our downtown, and yeah, that's about it. All right, we're about to get into some live gameplay, so I will see you guys over there. Okay, so here's what the downtown now looks like. We can definitely change all this around if we need to, but basically this is kind of like our merging grid pattern. So it's not exactly matching what Ortera looks like, but it's kind of transitioning us into like the official grid of the downtown. Now we've got a few things happening here. We have the main avenue, which is 6 lanes. We have a tram line coming along the shorefront and then curving down this direction over into the future stadium district. And then we have every block a normal like base game 2-lane road with trees. And instead of doing the one-way roads here in the center areas, like I did the 1-unit blocks over this way, these guys are all one way. So it's one-way road and then the other side has parking. For this area, I instead decided that we were going to make all of these one units 2-lane roads. So there's no parking on them. The only streets where there's parking, actually, the only road where there's parking is this one little road and this road cutting through. Okay, so actually no, these left to right or east to west streets all have parking on them. These tiny ones do not. If we want to do these roads, let's go back to these 1-unit guys. If we want to do these roads with parking, we could make them one way, and then the one side would be parking and the other side would be driving like we did with the other side. But for some reason, I kind of wanted to switch it and make these 1-unit 2-lane roads. I don't know if it's going to help the mobility or not. The problem I ran into is that like these one-way roads don't really connect over to each other. You know what? The more I think about this, the more I hate it. So actually, we're going to change this. We are going to have these be one-way roads. I like that these were one-way roads on the other one, and this will give us an extra section of parking. We're still going to build a number of parking garages, but I want to make sure there's enough parking in this whole space. Okay, so all these are going up and down. This just ends a little bit early. That's okay. This one can be 2 lanes because it's going east to west. This one here is going to go back up. Perfect. And then I don't know, we don't really need it here. This is such a short little road. Do we just do it because like that's what would be there? I think so. We're doing it. Then we also have, I built the highway bridge. So we have the highway bridge and we have the rail bridge. And then we have this 2-lane or 3-lane, 2 on one side, 1 on the other road that kind of winds underneath of all of these and winds its way up here into the stadium area. So this is as much as I want to work on for this right now. We also went over the metro. So the metro kind of cuts through and it's going to come straight along and through here. They come back up and connect to the stadiums. And then we have this spur. It's only one line, but I'm thinking that since we have this route and we have this route, one of them can cut all the way through and then the other one can cut and it kind of come to the spur and stop. So, but we're not going to do anything more here. Not today. What I want to do is I want to show you guys this. Here's what it looks like. This is it. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and then we can figure out if this is how we want to leave this. I'm not entirely sure. It's it kind of looks like a butt. So we've got this part of the park, but that's about it. So let's go ahead and move over to the stadiums. I want to work on building out to play. I want to work on building out our stadium district over here. So let's see what we've got under our education stadiums. Okay, so I know we would like to build this. This is a definite for me. I want to have the football stadium somewhere over here. I did take a little bit of this land away. And actually, I'm wondering if I can... Yeah, I can probably smooth this out a little bit more. But I took a little bit of this land away to put this avenue this far out. I don't know if that's the best place for it, but let's go ahead and... All right, we're going to do what I normally do, and that is add a key wall in here, because I think that this is such prime real estate being next to the stadiums. This can be where the parking goes. This can be where some of the businesses could go. Let's see, simple seawall fenceless. We definitely want a fence. That's pretty decent. That one's still okay, and this one's now gone. Now, we do have some oh, that's not actually even clipping. That is just pavement. Okay, that works. That's totally fine. Remove this tree. And then let me go ahead and smooth this portion out a bit. And now let's think about where we're actually placing these stadiums. So I want to first place the football stadium, but I also know I would like to have something in a building. In our last series, we did football and we did the basketball arena, or we did basketball and baseball. So let's do the football and let's do the aquatic center, because I think I could definitely fit this over this direction with this maybe back here. Or do we have any fun? This is too tiny. I think that one is really small. We also have this one, but I'm not a big fan of this one. I'd rather use the university one. So let's go ahead and first put this in a campus area. Let's remove this district. I'm just going to come right up along around the side and down. Oh my gosh, you know what? Because I didn't put a video out last week, I also forgot to show you guys the changes I made over here. The frame rate definitely drops in this area. What is this again? This is Underhill, and then this is the Hillside Hills. But I basically went through and individually place a number of houses that kind of are part of the same, I think, New Zealand theme set for the Hillside District. And then once we got up here, we've got an old town, part of our main street, with larger houses kind of along the old road. And then we've got a small little bit of development here in this corner with a more modern hotel. And that kind of makes up the downtown area. And we've got little parking lots hidden in here, as well as a playground and dog park. And then the rest of this area is a bunch of older style homes. These are all about 2 or 3 units wide. And then as we go further back into older parts of this area, the houses begin to get bigger. Some of the houses actually have larger lots, like this house is massive. And these are further away, tucked back closer to the nature reserve. But you've got a larger yard and a much bigger plot of land. But so this whole area has just been a bit more detailed. I added parking lots to all of our city services, which I think this just makes it look way more realistic to have a small parking lot next to these services. I just feel like 5 parking spaces for a building that is this tall is not enough. And then I did a little bit of work here on the park. I know I originally planned to keep it pretty simple, but I just felt like it wasn't enough for this area. This seems to be an area that's going to be quite expensive, and so it needed to look that way. So that looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. All of these are just because they are not connected. That's fine. All right, so let's go back to universities. We are going to take Waffle County University and bring it right over here. Give us a nice plot to work with. So now we've extended Waffle County University. The one thing I forgot to add from here is I meant to add in exits and entrances for this part of the connection, which is going to make me have to change this key a bit. But what I purposely did was I left, at least for this side, an easy way for me to connect on and off for the highway. For this side, we could come off and then somehow curve up quick enough to connect into this point here. So I think that's what we're going to do. I also want to maybe think about an additional connection further down, but we can work on that in a bit. Let's take one of these coming out 12 units. That seems too steep. And I also think I would want this to be elevated. Let's come out. If I came out, let's go to 3 height, 16 units. Also, it is the 4th of July as I record this, so there may be some fireworks you can hear in the game. They're actually in real life. Let's bring this down to 3 units. And then we can adjust the actual slopes of these. All right, so then this is going to come into here. Let's set this one to the ground. It's 9 units total. And this one's going to come over here. 9 units total. Now we will need to move this supporting pillar. We're also going to move this so that we don't have to see that little mistake there. Great. And then I also want to fix all of these sections. Let's slope and square it off. Slope this guy. That's a middle piece. It says it's a middle, but it looks pretty crap. Slope this one. Okay, that's much better. So now we have an entrance and an exit over here. To do the other side, I mean, I guess we could do the same. The only downside would be making a very small bridge, and I think this is going to be a pretty trafficked area. So I would rather have this come out and connect over to here somehow. Okay, so we do have an intersection here now, interchange. We might come back and fix this later because it is a little funky looking. It's not exactly as polished as I would hope, but it's gonna have to do. That'll do. All right, so now we have all this. I don't know what's going on with these highways, but we're gonna just ignore it for now. Let's go ahead and put down our football stadium. So the front of the stadium has way more noise than the back of the stadium. So I was thinking we could take a road off of here that would come over and down, and this would go as far back. It could go to about here, and none of the noise is going to be touching those houses. So let's go ahead and let's grab a, do we want a two-way? I think we do. Do I want to share with this? Actually, let's share with this road. We're going to send this back 8 units, and we're going to send it straight on over. But then what I would like to do is curve this part here. 8 and 8. Great. Because now we can have a stop directly in front of the stadium. Okay, that's perfect. So let's put that there. Let's grab our stadium. Let's just double check. Yep, we're not hitting any of the houses. So let's go ahead and give this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put it here. So there's 6, and then there's kind of 6 on the other side. That's perfect. Okay. So now we have our football stadium. Looking fantastic. Doesn't clip into any of the... Man, that would be so cool. You could sit in your house and just see the game. Doesn't clip into the cliffside there any, which is great. Now we need to figure out... You know what? This might actually have to go straight. I was going to curve this, but I think this does have to go straight. This will connect in. It doesn't really give a way for it to turn around. So why don't we instead change this? This is just going to be a tree-lined road. And then this here will be where we do our turnaround. Take this and put it into here. Great. Let's go ahead and remove all the trees on this road. Okay, much better, much better. There's nothing there. Oh, they're already starting to fill out, which is great. You're not going to have water for a while, though. I hope that's okay. And then on this side here, we're going to place, hopefully, I might have to make that tram track a bit smaller. Oh, no, it fits. It does fit. I want to see what it looks like there. If I have trees, that's not going to work. We're going to have to scoot it over. We could have this here. You know, I do want this smaller because I need more parking. So this is going to come to here, and then we're just going to use, if this is not going to work, I'll do it myself. 2, 2, 2, and 2. Great. And then the reason for that is that we can now send a tree-lined road along this back route. Does it connect? I don't think it does. I think it does something like that. I actually did not check the noise pollution of this, which wasn't my best move, but it does hit a few of the front houses. That first row, but for the most part, it's not too bad. If we went all the way to the edge, it would still hit a few of them. And if I rotated it onto maybe the back road, it would have to go back there. No, I think it's fine where it is. It's only a little bit that's being touched, which is not too bad. All right, so then we have this here, which gives us the ability to put parking right here, which is great. So let's go ahead and let's water and power this up, because without either of those, this is not going to last very long. And for now, this setup will do just fine. Let's go ahead and take one of these across the highway. Connect into there. Okay, great. So now all of that has water. It's also going to need power. We already have people streaming in, which is wonderful. I am going to change the top of this to 2 lanes, so that we have dedicated turning lanes for those coming into this area. That's the wrong one. There we go. Yeah. And you are not allowed to go, give me this guy. You're not allowed to go straight from here. You can go here or here, and then this can go here. This can go here. This can go here. This one's a turn only. This one's a turn only. And then these go this direction. And actually, this is not going to go here. You're going to go to that far one. Then from there, you can transfer. Perfect. I need to do the same here, but we'll do it later. And I'll fix all that later. That's fine. Okay, so we've got both of these. We've got tons of people flooding in, which is great. I do like the idea of this being a... Can it be a one-way road with trams? That's, I guess it would not be one-way. Or I want a one-way road that has the tram lines on it, but these are all 2-lane roads. I don't think we have a 1-lane road. 2-lane, one-way road with tram track, no parking. Okay, we do have. This is the... Sorry, I had to read them all. This is a 2-lane, one-way road with a dedicated tram line and parking spaces. This is going to go forward like so. And I guess for the trams, no, it's one way for the trams too. I want it to be one way, but I don't want it to be one way for the tram tracks. Which I guess that's not possible. So we're just gonna have to go with it. Okay, so if anything though, this can be a one way. I would love for people who are coming off to have to come down and around so that they have to leave from here instead of enter from there. And then I think for this one, you could enter from here. You could enter from here and go out this way, or this could be another way to exit. Unclear. I'm not exactly sure. All right, we're gonna leave this as is. That seems good enough for me. Let's go ahead and make sure this has some power. And I might even stick, but these have so much pollution. But then again, no people are really gonna be living back this way. They would wanna have some kind of designated power station over here for these stadiums. So we're gonna put a power station back there. I think that's all right. Let's also think about changing these because of how traffic this is. I can't do that, Wheaty. What are you doing? That's not... Okay, hold on. Let's switch this around. This needs a tram train. This could be switched into 2-lane. Yeah, I think that's a better move there. I think that's good. I don't think we need to do anything else at the moment. I think that works for what we've got going. Okay, so now, moving on to parking. This is 4 back. I think this whole front area is going to be a really boring parking strip. Oh, and we can put trees around it. That's perfect. So let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, great. We're going to do 15 of these. 1, 2, 3. Let's 1, 2, 3. delete this one. 1, 2, 3, delete this one. 1, 2, 3, delete this one. All right, then we're going to use park or pathways, and we will connect. Let's connect along these center two. And then for this one, let's turn all of this off, and let's just go right here through this middle. Okay. And actually, let's do that for all three of these. Connect them so there's still space on both sides. Let's use our chestnut. And switch to the chestnut. There we go. I think that's a little bit too high. So let's do, or too low. Let's do 15. 16 is not bad. Let's go to, there we go. Let's do 17. So we're gonna put 4 here. Perfect. I am gonna put in a pathway along this side here, just to kind of close this up a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let's also do an additional pathway from here. Let's use the grids. Let's go from here and go grid angle. Let's go straight on back. And grid angle, go straight on back. Gives us 2 more little areas there to connect with. And then let's do, I do want some kind of fence here. I would like to use, let's use this one, the oil industry fence. This is what I often use, but let's go ahead and turn off grid. We're just gonna come right here. I guess we have these paths coming through, so we can't totally shoot straight down. We'll go to there. Go to there. This is mainly just to cut off the zonable squares, so I don't have to see them. Then send this over. And then for this side, we're not going to use the angle, and instead we're just going to cut it off like that. Perfect. Okay, so we've got nice parking there in front of the stadium. I think back here would be another set of parking. This is not as fancy of a lot, but it would kind of come right along the backside here. Parking would all ensue in this area. Should we use the same ones? I think so. I think what we'll do, let's use the 2-lane one-way road, no parking. Okay, great. This is going to come up. We're going to make our own. Make our own parking lot. So if we go forward 9. Okay, let's try this. Let's do this one piece at a time. If we go forward 9 and we do 1, 2, 3. I guess we actually just want to go forward 8. Go forward 8. Then we can send this up 6 units. Turn all of these on. That's 7 units. Can I get to 6? 6 units. Come back down. Okay, and then again, we're going to come over 6 units. Come back down. Okay, great. Then switch back to this. We'll just use move it, scoot this one over. There we go. All right, so we've made a smaller parking lot. Now let's also, how many units is this? That's 8. If we came out 8 units and just did one more, and then we connected this straight on down. Yep. 1, 2, and 3. And so we have more parking there behind the stadium. We'll have to disguise it with some trees or something, but I think that's a pretty good spot. We have this area open here. That looks nice. Then we also have this section, which could be more parking, or we could try to fit the parking back here somewhere. Either here or... I'm thinking I like it over here. I'm also thinking, now that I'm seeing this, that I do want this whole area to just be concrete. It's in front of the stadium. It's gonna be just filled in concrete, and that's just like what it looks like. That's fine. This section here, we could do a line of parking along here. Hold on. Maybe not a 4, but we could definitely do a set of 2s. Right here along the front. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, We're going to sit 2 of them here. Turning on, snapping. Scoot this over. Scoot this over. Let's go ahead and fill all this in. And erase all of this. Alright, there we go. So let's go ahead and give this a fence. This one will use a different fence than the other one. Let's turn all of this off. Let's just go with this fence right here. And cut off all of the zoning from that side. And we'll place a little bit more of this on this side. As well as a bit up here. Then, ooh, right here we're going to do recycle. And right over here in this little corner, I'm going to stick just a few little recycling bins. Maybe this is where they hide some of the trash because people don't see it. That's great. And then I think that's pretty good for all of that. I don't think there's much more that that area needs. I do want to give it a little bit of commercial zoning, I think, here on these front parts. Anything else we would need, though, before we do that? Let's check these services. In terms of trash, it's covered, and I would not put trash a trash thing over here anyway. In terms of healthcare, it doesn't really have any. Does it need a dedicated healthcare? No, but it could get one of these gyms, and the gym could kind of support the area, but also maybe be like where some of the athletes practice and train. So maybe we place this a few back from there, from that road, and then let's go in here with these trees. We're going to place them one at a time. Let's go ahead and just kind of fill in around this area. Great. So you don't really see it, but you can tell it's there, and we can also pretend that it's something other than that. But that will help with the healthcare. Oh, there's also this really crazy looking pool. How much does it cost? It doesn't even say. I guess it costs 10,000. Oh, that's a cool looking building. We might leave it. I don't actually know. No, we're not going to leave it. All right, fire coverage. We definitely need some fire coverage. I'm thinking I wouldn't mind doing one of these like smaller kind of one-off fire stations. Trying to think that like these would be, you know, they're built just for these stadiums. They're not really used for anything else. Let's go ahead and do a road off of here. That comes straight on out. Let's go. Can we go with the 45? I'd rather do it here. Perfect. So we're going to put this here. Let's grab our fire station. This can be like a little service road. We'll have a fire station and we'll put the tiny little police station that I have, which is really tiny in comparison. But it'll do. I'll take it. Let's give this a little bit of parking. So let's go and we'll do these 2 first. That's totally fine. And then let's also go ahead and go in and put down some kind of fence around here. I think for this one we will use the zoo fence, because essentially I want to try to hide these services so that the guests that are around here don't really see these. They're here when they need them, but otherwise you're not supposed to know they're so close. Okay, great. So now we've got our little area for our services. We have this health center. I guess we do need some kind of clinic just in case someone were to get hurt. But I would say, why don't we hide the clinic like inside the building or something? Can we like place this? It seems strange it would be coming out of the aquatic center, but like what if we placed it here? Yeah, it's kind of like built into the building. I like that. Okay. We've got all of this. This is wonderful. I wouldn't mind putting some kind of like small statue here. And by small, I mean small because it's gonna... What are you doing? Just driving across the grass. It's not really small at all, but it looks pretty cool. And then you know what? I think we do that and then we let's put trees around it. Let's just cover this area with trees. It's gonna help with the noise pollution and protect the residents from some of the lights. Yes, so all this needs to get some trees. Beautiful. And you know what? I do think that this area here gets trees as well. I don't think this needs to have anything on it. Now, for this front area, we do need to put some kind of development. I'm thinking, first of all, we've got rocks in the road, which isn't ideal. Are there other rocks somewhere? No, I don't see any, so that's good. I'm thinking we can do one of two things. We're near the downtown, so we could like pull in some of this old city that we had going on over here, which I don't hate. Let's get rid of this. And let's look at some of our businesses. Let's do both growable and Rico, but let's just look at custom, custom for now. Because we have some of these curved edges. That one's not going to work, but what if we went for more like these guys like we've been doing? I know we have a lot of these already throughout, but if you imagine that these were all, like they're all little mom pop bars and small little places, because we're in a loud part 2, we can kind of just do whatever we want. So why don't we go in and just place a bunch of them really fast? Let's see what it would look like. I don't want to go too tall. I would want to keep these pretty low. We're going to use move it, and we're actually just going to shuffle this over right there, which is great. And just do a whole host of different buildings. And then I think here on this far end, we are not doing a car dealership. We could also place something like, well, the coin laundry, maybe not, but one of these has like a liquor store on it. Sky Trust. There we go. So we kind of have like a little strip of shops there. In this center area, what all we got in here? Oh, we have this little bar, the Sky Bar, which we can definitely place there, which is great. This is tap room or tap house. I think this will be something we put kind of like on the stadium area. So like this is where people go right after the game. Right across the street is parking, but it's also where you can get a Cranburger. We will want a Walgreens or something that kind of like a drugstore in case anybody needs it on their way out. Which that will get its own designated parking space, which we can build here in a sec. What other kind of bar buildings do we have? Do we have any leisure or what about vanilla? Let's look through both of these. So we have a karaoke bar that I could get into. We'll put that at the very end. We also have a gym. We already have a gym over here. So that kind of covers all of those. I guess all of these are technically bars, but I just find these buildings to be really, really ugly. This can go in the middle here. We'll surround that with something else. This here, I guess, is another bar. A beauty salon. We don't need a beauty salon, not over here. Maybe we place the bowling alley next to this. They're a bit further apart. Then let's go back here. Let's go to this guy and let's do custom. And let's just scroll through this. I guess that's not terrible, but it is a little large. But if we place this next to that, it kind of hides that building has two sides, which is something I think we want to do. We can't let these get too large. Oh, that's fun. The Art Deco one. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, no, these are getting too big. We don't want them to get this large. Do we have any smaller offices we could put over here? No, these are all going to be large. Beautiful, but very large. Okay, so we'll go back to these. Let's see if we can just kind of pull out some ones we haven't used. Or even if we do pull out ones we've already used, let's just try to use them in a new way. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's end it with something like, not like the ice cream shop. What is this? An ice box? Yeah, something small and unassuming. The ice cream shop could go over here next to the Sky Bar. That's pretty cool. Okay, I like that. I like that. Now I know I want to have some kind of parking lot back here or maybe on both sides. So for this guy, I think we'll do this building here on the corner. So now I've got this whole commercial strip servicing this area. Let's go behind here. And in both of these areas, I want to put down a 1-unit 2-lane road that comes straight on back to 7 units and just cuts along the back. This one doesn't have one, but this one definitely has one. It's going to come right from here, and it's going to cut actually both directions. It's not going to connect back up to this road, but we will move this over so that it's kind of blending in there. Now, for both of these, they're going to get way more parking. I know it's not the like fanciest thing to look at, but it's absolutely what this area would need. Let's do a 3 deep parking, and we're going to do 2 and 2. Over here, I think we'll do some smaller parking behind those buildings throughout, but nothing super, super crowded. And then for this side here, it's just going to get one really long row of parking. Great. Using our pathways, let's do turn off angle or turn off grid. There we go. Let's do this guy with the trees. Just kind of make it look a little nicer than it does. And I guess this could come all the way over if we wanted it to, but alternatively, we can kind of just send it just like this, which is connecting back to the key. Let's go ahead and move that up. No reason for that to go down to the ground. So let's go ahead and also add in some kind of, yeah, some kind of like dog park or something. Let's place this here. And turn off snapping. Move all of this back until the dog park, there we go, is off that edge. Now the ground doesn't look great over here. That's better. That's better. Let's go ahead and just try to quickly fill in with some trees. So now we have all of this. Let's also grab, turn off angle, turn off everything, stick this to the ground, and we are going to place a little wandering path that goes along the back and also connects in. I don't know. It's something. Let's maybe place a few of these. Great. So now we've got a full complex. We've got all services that we need except for transportation, which we are going to work on. I think probably in the next part, once I know exactly if this layout we've got is pretty decent. So we've got a tram network that comes up this direction. Actually, no, we can do this right now. Let's go to the trams. Tram lines. We have this tram line here, this purple one, which is getting kind of crazy. Let's go here. Let's actually hide the blue and the orange because I fixed these roads. So I really need to like fix these trams. Okay, this is going to come to here and to here. Okay, got it. So that's where this is. So if we have a stop here, let's do one that's a little bit higher up. I don't necessarily think we need this road here to be a tram road. It's a regular road. So let's go ahead and just upgrade this to a regular road. Go back to trams. It's not going to be able to take that road, so it's going to probably do something crazy. Yeah, it's going to go all the way up and turn. So then I want to add another stop here in front of this little area, which we'll have to name. We'll add another stop here because this is going to be pretty important, I think, later on. Something just changed to recognize, which is great. Coming down this way, we're going to have one stop here, kind of in the center of this area. And then we're going to have a one stop here in front of our aquatic center. Okay, perfect. So now do we want to add any other... I guess we could also mess with the subway. Let's do that too and make sure that's connected correctly. So if I switch over to this guy, I'm thinking that this tram line here, I think 7th Avenue tram line, the 7th Avenue tram line is kind of coming across this way. So I don't necessarily want this subway line to do exactly the same because it would just be mirroring the 7th Avenue tram line. So I'm thinking that this tram line, which is going to go further out this direction, is going to be the tram line that connects over here. This tram line, which is going out towards this direction with the ports, I think is going to be the spur that kind of ends right here. If we hate that, we can change it later. Let's move this stop all the way to here. Let's give this a stop on both sides. Give this a stop on both sides. Great. And then it needs to have a stop here and a stop here. Perfect. Now, with that, let's call this... Oh, but you know what doesn't make sense there? Where does this begin right now? This begins in West Cyprus. Let's just call this for now the West Cyprus line so I know what it is. And let's turn it into like this deep green color. Maybe a bit brighter than that so I can see it. There we go. But then I think we're also going to do another line that's going to come from here. And it's going to go directly from the stadiums, excuse me, from the university up to the stadiums and then back again. And then it's all that it does. And this is going to be the WCU stadium line. And I don't know what the color of our university is. So for now, we're going to make it like a berry color. So there we go. We've kind of filled this out. It's looking pretty good. I haven't actually connected over here into Hillside. So let's, before we wrap up, let's give one additional way to connect to all this, which would be this road here. Coming off from the highway. I think the best way to do this is to change this into one of these asymmetrical roads with the main 2-lane coming this direction. For this one, we're going to switch this so we have a dedicated turn lane for both. There we go, dedicated turn lane. And then for here, this is going to turn all this on. I would really like a sweeping curve to kind of hug the edge there. I think that looks pretty good. Let's turn Anarchy off here. So it just gives another way into this area and allows for people to get to and from. Okay. Yeah. I think this looks pretty good. All right, let's see what kind of Waffle County University Broncos. And what color is yellow? I'm into it. That's great. I've done a few edits to my graphical settings, so things look a little bit different. But I just wanted to go in and show you what I've done with some detailing post the recording. So we've got our beautiful stadium filled with people all going in to go see the Broncos play. Very exciting stuff. Parking lot here in the front, which is starting to fill out, which is awesome. I did not too much else in this area. Over here, this is all still the same. I did go ahead and just put in a few extra trees, moved some things around, just finesse some of the details a little bit. This area here's the same. I added a few additional buildings on this backside, as well as a parking garage, and that's how I kind of ended the key wall. We wrapped it around so that you can park all the way around it. And then over this way, all this is exactly the same. Nothing here's changed. This is kind of the back lot. And all that's pretty much looking pretty good. Here, I did go in and I added, you guys will be proud, I added a bunch of road markings and I expanded all of the nodes. So things here look nice, smooth, and clean. I changed up these back two and I lowered the train line pretty much all the way across here. So all of this is a lot lower than it was before. It just allows just enough for the train to get through, but it all works really well. And then I also added over in this corner here an additional waste complex or waste management center. It does occasionally flood. I put in this little pier, it's an abandoned pier, but that's about it. Just some things throughout to kind of finish up the area. This road, I love that they use to actually turn around. And now that I'm seeing this in a new day, we are done the episode. It's over. I'm not doing anything exciting, I promise. But I am going to just quickly go in, and at least for this area, let's go ahead and fill this in with some concrete. Look at all the people flooding out. Yes. Navigate over to the stadiums. Get ready for the game. It's so exciting. I'm happy you're all here. We've been waiting. We've been waiting all summer just for you.
We've been waiting for you all summer, and we're so glad you're finally here. We've been waiting for you all summer, and we're so glad you're finally here. Finally here. Finally here. Finally here. Finally here.
Or whatever that meme is with those girls in the sorority. Okay, I think that is great. This is it. This is our stadium area. It's looking pretty awesome. I love it. Oh, and last but not least, I removed all the trees that were in here all episode. So if you commented that there were trees in the stadium and didn't watch to the end, I will know. All right, guys, that's where we're going to leave this part here. Let me know what you think of this road layout. Let me know what you think of the stadium layout. I'm obsessed with how it's just nestled at the bottom of this hill, and noise pollution's not too bad. There's a little bit touching these guys, but it's nothing as bad as like if you come over here, some of these houses have horrible pollution compared to this side. So I think it all turned out pretty well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this part, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think of our brand new stadium area, and I will see you guys in the next one.